it's Lisa from Critters'n Ink Designs in Ontario, Canada. And today I wanted to share just the cutest little card that I made. Here we go. The other day. So to get started, what we're going to need is I have a card base in basic black and it's 4¼ by 11. And I've scored it at 5½. And I also have a piece of Secret C that is 4¼ by 5½. And then I have a piece of basic white, which is also 4¼ by 5½, but I'm going to trim this down to about 3¾ by 5. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create this background, okay? So what I need, let me show you what we're using first. I get ahead of myself because, I get so excited. So we are going to use the Sweet Bugs bundle. Well, actually, we're just going to use the Sweet Bugs paper, which is cute as a bug, which is right here. But I thought I'd get out the stamps and dies. We're not going to be using those today. But what I did was I actually fussy cut a pile of the bugs to have. I'm going to use my Fern and Flora embossing folder. It's a 3D embossing folder, and that means that it's thicker than the other embossing folders. So I'm going to put my Secret C in here, and really it doesn't matter because the leaves are in all different directions. And to make sure it's straight, and again, you know what, honestly, in this one it doesn't matter. I'm going to line up the edge of my cardstock with that line right there. Okay, and let me grab my die cut machine. I was watching a video with some of the educators from Stampin' Up, and they call this a SCEM. SCEM. And I kept thinking, what the heck are they talking about? And so what it is Stampin' Up, cut, emboss machine. So SCEM. So now I'm going to call it a SCEM all the time. All right, so on here, if you're not familiar with using a 3D embossing folder with our cutting machine, you need a platform number 1, which is this guy, and a plate number 4, which is your gray one. Okay, so I just need this one. I can put these ones over here. And I'm going to put in my embossing folder, and you always put your embossing folder folded edge in first. You don't want to damage it. All right, so I'm just going to run that through. You don't need to run it through twice, but there. Okay, so here is our embossed paper. Isn't that pretty? You can really see the dimension. Like, that is so pretty. However, we're going to use this side, the flat side, with the ferns indented down. So let me grab a piece of scratch paper. And I'm just going to lay this on here. Now be prepared to get inky. So you can use either side, but for this particular technique, we're going to use the side that the embossing is on the back. All right, so I've got my Memento ink. You can use any ink you want, any black ink. And I tried this black on black and I didn't like it. But then I thought, what's really close to black? Secret C. So that's what we're using, Secret C and black ink. And so I'm just going to ink up the flat side of my embossed piece here. I'm trying not to get too inky. So much for that. All right, I'm gonna just take a little post-it note to hang on to this so I don't get it all over me. Now, did I miss anywhere? There. Isn't that cool? I love it. Love it, love it. Probably could use a little more ink right here. And any black would work. I just happen to have Memento on my desk, and so that's the one I'm using. There. So cute. That's the hard part. This is the easiest card you'll ever make. All right, so I'm just gonna grab a wipe, clean the ink off my hands. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is I'm going to do some splattering. When I splatter, everything in here gets splattered. But I'm good with that. It's easy to clean up, so. All right, so I don't need that anymore. So I have, I converted a Stampin' Up shipping box into a splatter box. And so it's just, I cut the sides. I guess you can't really see that. I cut the sides like off the flap and then just taped it all together with what do you call this? Duct tape. It's falling apart, but I don't care. It works. And I always put the tallest side to the back because when I do this, the paint goes everywhere. All right, so yeah, I mean, you know what? Honestly, you can buy a splatter mat or box, but I'm sorry, but I have boxes coming all the time. Why would I pay? In Canada, I think they're like $12 or $15 when I have a free box that's going to go in the recycle. So I just did that. But again, you can just use your glass mat or a dish, like whatever you want to mix your paint. So the first thing I'm going to use is I have the Stampin' Up white craft ink refill. And I'll just use my mat. I was going to use my silicone mat, but I don't need to. Now, you don't need a lot of this because you're going to dilute it. So I have an old paintbrush here. And I have a spritzer of water. So I'm just going to dilute that. Now, you can always add more ink or more water if you need to. But I'm just stirring it up here. All right, so I'm going to put this in here and proceed to make a mess. All right, so, okay, so I'm just going to tap my brush onto my paper. And I'm getting more on the box than I am on the paper, but you know what? That's fine. Fine, fine. But I love splatter. I put it on a lot of things. Now the white doesn't, it's not super opaque. Like if you look at this, there's a couple of them, of the dots that are somewhat sort of, I don't know, not really opaque. But, and you know what? That's okay because it gives it dimension. If you want it a little bit more opaque, we can add a little bit more water. Not water, ink. There, I just added a little tiny drop there to give it a little bit more ink. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, so that's that. And then I forgot to get a bowl of water. What can I use? What can I use? I have a little tin can here and I have some water. So I'm just going to pour some of my water into my, I just have a little trash can that I use for classes. And I'm just going to pour a bit of water in there so I can clean my brush. Because I'm going to now use a gold. Now we don't actually have a gold ink anymore. We did years ago. And I tried using the refill from that to make a gold splatter and it didn't work. So what I'm using is this. Did I use the white ink? I did. So this is the refill from our white craft ink, the Stampin' Up white craft ink. So that's just what I used and I just diluted it. So this is just a gold pigment ink that I found online. Probably Amazon, I'm not sure. And I'm just going to spray it with a bit of water. And then I'm just going to smush it around until I get enough to splatter with. There. So this is just like a gold ink. You can buy these anywhere. I've even seen them at the dollar store, to be honest with you. Probably not the same quality, but if you're just using it for splattering and you're not watercoloring, who cares? You know, really. Okay, I think that's inky enough. I may have to add more water, but we'll see. So now I'm just going to tap some gold. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Oh yeah. There, probably a little overkill with the splatter, but look. So pretty. I like it. Okay. So that's that. That was the hardest part of the whole card. So now I've got my card base, again, 4 1/4 by 11, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. And so now I'm just going to glue this onto the front of our card here. Oh, let's go ahead and glue this down. Now, because this is embossed, I'm using more glue than I normally would use. I never use this amount of glue, but it is embossed and it's going to be like ripply. So I want to make sure that it is going to stick. Okay, I'm just going to hold that until it dries a smidgen. There. There's our card base. So the next thing I did on this card was I used the dies from one of the paper pumpkins. Now every 3 months, Paper Pumpkin subscribers can order a set of 4 stamps for that 3-month period. And this one was from April to June in 2024, and I keep them all. And so this little thanks was the one that I used on this one, and I cut it out 3 times in white, and then I used I cut one out of the Scenic Shimmer Vellum, and it's almost like a champagne color, and I just glued that on top of there, and then I just added some fussy cut little creatures. So that's how I did that one. Now for this one, we have a new die set that just came out. And it's called Words and Wishes. And these are the dies. Aren't they great? So what I did one day is I just made a whole bunch of them. Cute, huh? So there's thank you, best wishes, happy birthday, for, like you could do for you, thank you. There's also, so the Words of Wishes stamp. So the Words and Wishes stamps, there's like happy birthday to, so you could do like happy, like this. So I did this with Versamark and white embossing powder. So you could do happy birthday, like that. Or you could do birthday, birthday wishes. So I did cut out, now this is the edge of the paper. So never, you know, if you only have a half a bug or a half of a bug setting, just cut it out and then put it on the edge of your paper like that. You don't, you know, you're not losing anything. And then you could put like a bee, another bug. You could put a couple of bees here, or, you know, whatever they are. And a butterfly up here. And then have your sentiment. You could do thank. I wonder if I have a U. I might have to do one in the block. I may not have. I used, oh, here's one. You could do thank you like that. Or I also cut out today some mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I don't like to eat them that much, but I like the way they look. So you could do something like this. That's cute. All right, so let's put the mushrooms here. Like this. There. Oh my goodness. I love it. That's going to go on dimensionals. Let me grab some dimensionals. And I'm going to use black ones because our background is black. Before I put the dimensionals on here, a couple things I want to do. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Up! White ink pen. So I've got my Stampin' Up! White ink pen. These are brand new. So what I want to do is I'm going to take my white ink pen. I'm just going to make sure that the ink is flowing here. And I'm just going to do some highlighting, and then I'm just going to come down like this. I just find that these little lines make such a difference in highlighting a little bit of the card. Like that. So cute. There. Oh my gosh, isn't that adorable? And then I'm going to add some Wink of Stella there. So hopefully you can see the shimmer. Yeah, you can see the difference. Okay, I'll just quickly, I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but there. That's good enough for now. Oh, I should do my little bug while I'm at it. My butterfly. Oof. My gel pen went crazy there. Or not my gel pen, my Wink of Stella. So we've had a full moon the last few nights, and Georgie thinks that it's daylight when the full moon is out at 3:30 in the morning. And she feels the need to go outside. Where the heck is my hair? There. Oh yeah, you can see the shimmer there. So I don't know how she does it. 3:45 on the dot. She's banging on the window in my bedroom for me to let her out. I'm like, seriously, Kat? But I've tried ignoring her, and then she just jumps on the bed and pokes me in the face. So it's easier for me just to get up and put her out. 3:45 every day. Little turkey. There, I'm not going to push these down because I may move them. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of here. And again, I'm using black because my paper is black. And I don't want you to see the, like white dimensionals. So I'm just going to put a half of one here. Is that going to fit? Maybe. Let's see. Can we see it? Yeah, no. I'm just going to cut off the tip. There. Okay. So let's pop this guy up. So I'm going to pop that right here. Again, I'm not going to stick it all the way down just in case I want to move it, but there. Oh, I just think that's so cute. All right, so let's go ahead and press them down because I'm pretty, oh, I've got to move this over. I'm sticking over the edge here. There we go. There, so that's the outside of the card. Okay, now for the inside of the card, I'm going to cut a piece down to 3 3/4 by 5. So 3 3/4. Keep these, you can use them, by 5. And on the inside, I'm going to stamp, "Thanks for being so fabulous. Life is better with you around." Here it is. Okay, and I'm going to use my stamp positioner to stamp it. Now on here, I have just taped a sticky mat. You can buy these sticky mats anywhere, but you can get them on Amazon. You can get them, I don't know if you can get them at Michael's. I'm not a big Michael's fan, but I know you can get them lots of places. And it's just a sticky little mat. And they're not expensive. And then when it gets unsticky, then you just get another one. All right, so I've got my Stampin' Positioner. And I'm just going to line up and see how straight that is. And actually, it looks pretty straight. So I'm going to pick up my stamp. And I have a piece of window sheet that I've just put a piece of washi tape on there. And I always, and I mean always, if I'm using a positioner, I always use my window sheet to see if I'm straight or if I even like it. So I'm using Secret C, and I'm just going to ink up my stamp. Okay, and I'm going to lay it down, and we're going to see if we're straight. That is straight. So I can take off my washi, not my washi, what do you call this, window sheet. And I have a few different sizes. I just made them out of window sheet, and this one's made out of packaging. I just keep them around. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up and stamp it for realsies. So I'm just going to stamp it. And when you're stamping, just hold it down for a second so that the ink can absorb into the paper. So that's looking pretty good, but I think I want to stamp it again. My bottom row here didn't stamp the greatest. So I'm going to let it sit, make sure it's square, and then I'm just going to press down again. Beauty. Okay. So now let's give this a clean. I've got what do we do the flowers? I think they're very, very cute. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a blending brush, and I wonder if I'm going to, I have Granny Apple Green. I don't know if that's the right green. Curry Old Olive, but I think Old Olive might be too dark. Let me just, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with Old Olive. Try that. Flip that over and see what that looks like. Yeah, I like that better. But I'm going to use my silicone mat here, and I'm just going to take the excess ink. I guess you can't see what I'm doing. The excess ink off my brush so that I just have a little bit. I'm going to test it on. Yeah, I like that better. So I'm just going to go over the lettering a little bit, very, very lightly, just to give it a little bit of personality. There, that's all you need. A tiny, tiny bit. I better close my Secret See before I stick my finger in it. So I just put a little bit on there. And then I'm just going to put my flowers like that. So cute. There we go. Some Wink of Stella. What do I do with that? You don't have to be fancy, just get her on there. There. I don't know if it shows or not, but a little bit. Super cute. So we have our card, and I'm just gonna glue that down. So my inside piece here is 3 3/4 by 5 because I like the wider border. There we go. And there's our card for today. Isn't that cute? All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me this afternoon. I really appreciate it. I'm going to let you go. I can smell dinner. It smells amazing. What time is it? 6 o'clock. Yeah, my husband is up there cooking up a storm. It's awesome. I'm so glad my husband cooks. I've gotten to the point where I hate cooking. Anyway, I will be posting the link for the PDF for the new online exclusives that went live on Wednesday of the YouTube. And then, but you can also just go into crittersandink.com and click on what's new, and the new online exclusives will pop up. Thank you again for sharing your last hour and whatever it was with me. I super appreciate it. And don't forget, to, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. And don't forget, thumbs up. All right, thanks. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.